choice I make, it's my new rebellious way. Choice I make, it's my new rebellious way. It's my new rebellious way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tech On. I really appreciate you for taking the time and effort on your Saturday. How are you? It's a pleasure to be here. Welcome to Tech On Live, and it's the first Saturday of the month, which means that it's really time to, talk about Q&A stuff and maybe look back in the last month, what happened. So typically what I want to do with the Q&A is that, of course, first and foremost, you determine what we're going to talk about because you have some questions or you have some remarks that we need to talk about. So please go ahead and write a Q in front of the question that you have and then just the question if you have it. But also, I really appreciate you to tag along, give comments. Don't forget, to like this show because that would be fantastic. Or subscribe to it, of course. That would be also cool as well. And talking about that, I have something that I promised you last week, so we'll be talking about that in just a bit. But let's talk about today's show because we have a fully packed show. Even though I told you just now that you are deciding what you're going to talk about, and that is definitely the case. So if you have something, please go ahead and ask it. But before we do, let's try to work on this and let's check about what we're going to talk about. I already told you about the Q&A, of course, but let's talk a little bit about what else we want to talk about. Let me just get a little bit out of the way here. So today, of course, we're going to do a quick check-in. People that are live direct on Saturday at 7 p.m. Central European Time. I also have something about one-on-one calls. So I'm going to tell you what I mean by that in just a bit. I have a studio update that we will very briefly talk about. Don't expect too much, but there are some changes that have already occurred, and they're quite nice and actually very helpful for me at least. And of course, we also have some gig reports. Last month was like amazingly a lot of gigs. Actually, not one, not two, but 3 gigs. Right there that we had this month. All right, so let's get rid of that and let's just start to check in. So I really appreciate you for taking your time on your Saturday or Sunday if you are in Australia to be here. Of course. MT was in the house and he had a pink hand and was waving. By the way, what happened to MT? You were a little bit late for your doing, but that's okay. Shane is in the house, which is appreciated. Thank you so much. The same counts for Raoul, and for Amari is also in the house. He says good evening and good morning, and also Roland was checking in quite quickly, but he also has to go due to the fact that he is working on a carnival. Well, he does something with Carnival. That's LVK. That's the abbreviation. But he is definitely near where I live. Very, very close to where I live, as a matter of fact, at the moment. So that is really interesting as well. But that was not everybody. I actually have more people that were joining. So again, thank you so much for talking to each other during this chat. Really appreciate that. Bill, all the way from the Windy City, as I always call it, the sunny Chicago, absolutely fantastic. I heard something about a cold snap that was just happening just a couple of days ago. So I hope that everything is fine and not too much damage or something. But it sounded to be very, very cold. I have some friends over in Colorado that are also talking about a big snap. So yeah, that's that thing. Connie is in the house as well today. Greetings from Cochevel, France. And not Aachen. Oh, you're on vacation. That's my presumption then. Great that you're still here. Well, welcome. And Quick Tech Solutions is also in the house. Been a while since I've caught you one of your live streams. Happy to be here. Well, happy to be with you. And of course, like everybody who is live, I really appreciate you for being there. But also for the people that are after the fact. Don't forget those people are very important as well. If you are watching after the fact, please, if you have any questions, just go ahead and write a Q in front of it so that I will be picking it up at a later stage and maybe making a new video of it in a couple of weeks or so. Eric is in the house. Welcome, Eric. Appreciate you for being there all the way from Rochester, New York. Garrett is from Stuttgart, Germany. Of course, like MT is also from Germany. And I think I have everybody. Yes, I have everybody. Cool. So that was a quick check-in. And that means that I now have some time for something else. And that is something new. And this is something that I was not expecting that I would do this just a week or two ago. But the last couple of weeks, I did get some requests from you guys. I presume that because you're all watching this video. It was with regards to some personalized session to talk about your personal situation and to figure out what is best for you. Until recently, I actually always used these kind of comments for talking about that during a show, and if that would not be the case, then I would just would say no, because I want to provide value to each and everybody of you. However, I have to admit that the last couple of weeks it did became to a point that I was like, oh, maybe I should do something about it. So that is the reason. And moving forward, if you have a personalized question, then of course you still, let me just rephrase that. If you have a question, please go ahead and ask it here. This is for free. You can just do it. Taekwondo is for free, obviously. If you want to support the show, that you are already supporting it by commenting to the channel. You can also, of course, subscribe to the channel if you would like to do that as well. That would be really, really appreciated. I said subscribe to the channel. No, it's not working today. What happened? I was trying to do the voice command thingy. Let me check quickly what the exact pronunciation was. It is subscribe to the channel. Should work. There it is. I don't know why. Anyway, that was done by voice command. So you know what happened last week that it did work? Well, you now know why I don't like voice commands, because it's really picky, especially if you're not a native English speaker. So, but it is a possibility, especially if you're handicapped. That would be a very interesting setup for you as a streamer. Anyway, again, for free, please comment as much as you want. If you want to support the show in another way, you can also use super chats. But now you can also support the show with one-on-one chats. So I actually did a quick this thing here. So if you need personalized help, you can go to calendly.com and then go to Taekwondo. Like that it states right here. I'll just wait a little bit for you guys to write it down. But this is where you can ask for a one-on-one personalized support for your stream or whatever, etc. But what is really important for me is that I want to make it something that is affordable. So yes, this is a paid service. However, it is also not a big chunk. I'm very much aware of inflation, and I am very much aware of that not everybody has a lot of budget. However, I think that this is, for the most people, a doable situation. So go to calendly.com/taekwondo, and as a matter of fact, we're going to do that right now as well. So let's delve into it. Oh, this is something for later. This is the situation that I have here. Let me increase that a little bit. So let me rephrase that. So Taekwondo's mission is to make live streaming available to all. So that is one of the reasons why I also decided not to ask the big amounts, but just something that is really affordable. €1 a minute. That's the price that I've come up with, and I've actually had added 30, 60, or 120 minute blocks. And these are the blocks that you can choose of. So the 30, 60, and 120, and you see that it's basically €1 per minute. And so the first one is a quick question that you want to personally answer it about anything about ATEM, vMix, audio, companion, that kind of stuff. I'm going to go really in depth and and try to figure it out together with you. And this is where you can also select the date that you want me to talk about. So, for example, you want me to talk about it on the 8th of February, then there is only one time slot left. So only at 8:30 p.m. That is in Central European time, but you will see that as your own time at that particular moment. The day later, you have, for example, more options, as you can see right here. Again, these the ideas that I had were just to give you an idea what I think that the size would be for the right part. So the 60-minute meeting is really going into in depth in a really big topic, but really go into in depth and really help you out. So that is €60. Again, the same thing as you did see before. You can just select the date and the time, and also don't forget to write down what it's all about, what you want to ask, and ideally just leave it to 1, maybe 2 pages at the most, because otherwise if it's a whole booklet of what you want to do, then it's going to be quite a trick to get it done in a short while. So that is one thing. And the last one is the 2-hour meeting. And that is really if you want to have more information on the studio and the location kit, and you really want to go in depth and go all the way in. And I think, again, for €120, you have a fantastic situation. And typically, you can book about a month in advance. So that is something that I came up with as a way to, well, it seemed to be something that you guys wanted. So go to calendly.com/techcondo. I'll just show it one more time. Here you go. So calendly.com/techcondo. And I feel very bad of being a commercial person at the moment because I hate being commercial. It's not me. It's totally not me. Let me see if there are any questions in the meantime. I see a lot of comments which I really like, guys. What vMix? What are we talking about? We're talking about vMix and lower thirds. Huh? I tried it to do that indeed. It was not the best, the best demo ever, but it was something that I just wanted to show you that it's possible, but it's a little bit buggy, especially if you're not a native speaker. Oh, a lot of questions are coming in right now. Raul, I want to build a studio like former Microsoft Channel 9. That's my goal. The difficult part I found is to choose 3 all-purpose cameras. I mean SDI, remote, or recorders, or boxes. I do not know Microsoft Channel 9, to be honest. Never heard of it, to be honest. But yeah, so indeed, the best thing always is to find one camera type, one camera body that you want to use for everything. And I personally am a little bit these days on the PTZ bandwagon. We'll be talking about that later today as well. I just bought 3 times a PTZ camera by Burdock. This is the P120. Extremely expensive for my budget, but worth every penny in my opinion. Really doing exactly what I wanted to do. Can do whatever. Can color grade it the perfect way. So I'm really happy with that. But that's what is best for my use case. So it's always particularly for the use case, and that's where the personalization comes into play. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to talk about it in this kind of show, but it's there for you if you want it. That's basically the case. So indeed, always find the same body or type, and that can also be these kind of cameras that I have in front of me. A Sony A6100, A6400, just 2 of them or 3 of them, and you're golden as well, because these are really good cameras as well. So yeah, it's really up to you what you think. Actually, in this video, you'll actually see 2 different branded videos and their pictures, and they're not exactly the same, and I hate that so much. But on the other hand, it's also something that I don't want to throw away, so I'm okay with that, and it's not very yucky if it comes to this show, so that's why I'm okay with that. Bill says, Are you aware of anything as robust as vMix on the Mac? Ecamm is not nearly as feature-packed. Well, if it comes to robustness, I do actually know something that is actually better, though it has less options. So it has been around for quite some time. It's called Livestream Studio. It is available on the Mac as well, and unfortunately, it's a monthly subscription there. Which is a bummer, but if you use Vimeo, it's actually for free again. So yeah, but you are combined with Vimeo. Livestream Studio, I actually used it before I went to vMix, and I have to admit that it's way easier to work with Livestream Studio than with vMix. So it's definitely an easier setup. Another option on the Mac is, believe it or not, because they had a very bad reputation a couple of years ago, it's Wirecast. With the introduction of the M series chipsets, it actually is improving. Maybe not as much as we want it to be, but it's getting to a place that I'm starting to at least consider to purchase a license for the show, so that I can also talk about Wirecast and to give you some insights in that as well. So I do have a MacBook Pro that I can run it with, so I might be tempted to figure that out, and might be something that for later this year. So that's Wirecast. That's another one that I could do. Ecamm, I have to admit, I'm also not a big fan of Ecamm, honestly. I've tried it, not my thing. Okay, yeah, so I'll verify that. Let me check that very quickly. Control C. Let's go to... Oh, that's not possible. Let me... this is a different system. Control V, Command V. Wait a sec. Wait. Channel 9. So I said here copy. I'm gonna go here. Command V, which is a Mac term. Oh, that's it. Oh no, that's nice. Yeah, so these are Steadicams, right? So, yeah, so for channel A, I will just go, honestly, I would look into the Sony range for those kind of setups. But let's check that later. Okay, yeah, I will check that later, Rahul, and we'll come back to you at the later stage, because otherwise I have too much different things going on. All right. So that was that. Now, something else that I wanted to talk to you about. So there are all kind of different topics going on. Sorry for that. And that is actually that I changed my studio setup, believe it or not. And this is what it looks like from my end. There you go. So as you can see, I have now a new desk. It has a nice grain, so I like that, because with this grain, I can actually now have very nice picture quality videos where it's more clear what the product looks like. So that is the reason why I did this. I'm still using the LTT desk for because it's better for how it feels. And it's a little bit more cramped. So I actually lost about, I would state, this size roughly 2 times on both sides of the table. So it is more crowded. But I do like it. I have, I have my audio right here. I've got my audio meters right here. Got my stream deck here. Got my keyboard for my Mac right there. My Mac mouse right here, and a mouse for this system right there. I really like it. And what I really like about it is that I can actually increase the size. I can actually go up and stand if I would like to. And of course, I'm not going to do that now, so I have to wait until this is again perfect. There you go. So that is really cool. And I actually not have only one of these tables. I actually also have this table right here, which I can reach out here. So these are the PTZ controllers right there with my Scarroy device. And this table is really my bench, my workbench. I can actually use it for all kinds of different demos, and I actually have now 2 monitors that are barely on the screen at the moment. I'm aware of that, but I can therefore also use it together with my 2ME switcher that is right there, for example. But this is where I want to, build stuff, etc. And talking about the 2ME, we have to talk about that later as well, because this was a bit of a challenge. Let me go back to the screen right here. Hi. So as you can see, it's a very small studio, but at least I can now stand and be more active. As a matter of fact, I'm using the standing position during the church service, because I don't. First and foremost, I don't have to be on camera, but I can actually stand and walk around, and it feels more energetic than just sitting. For doing the show, this is easier for me. However, maybe at a later stage, I'm just gonna stand more, because I do like that interaction, especially if I have to go back and forth between the demo desk or the workbench and this desk. It becomes a little bit more of a thing. But what do you think about the new studio setup? This is the first step in the new studio setup. It's purposely that the tables are not 100% aligned with the walls. That's really on purpose, so that I have an easier access to both the tables. And I already figured out that if I want to have more access to the back of the workbench table, I can actually put it all the way up, and then it's really easy to get behind that desk, which is really cool. So it's really high. It's literally, this is the side, the area where the table will stop. Let me see what we have here. On TV channel, welcome. Really appreciate you for being here. Amori, I think that you're right. So they have a large budget, but having a big budget does not necessarily mean that you cannot have roughly the same, right? So it's just a matter of finding what works for you, a backdrop that works for you. This is just a cloth. This is just a curtain, so to speak, with blue light. So if I can actually turn off the blue light or make it purple or whatever, and that's all it is. So, but it is real. It is actually real, and I really would love to have a big TV screen behind me, so that I can give it a little bit more of a scene to it. But this is really good as well. Really happy with that. Any other questions or remarks? Eric says a standing deck for the win. Yep, I agree. What about the cable management? That's a good question. So at the moment, I would state that the cable management is not perfect. I am still working on that. However, everything that's on the table will go up. So that includes also the camera. Everything will go up by itself, and again go very, very high. So it's like that, like literally about, well, yeah, half a human size can go up. Let's just call it that way. And it's extremely cool. And the only thing is that indeed the cable needs to be combined and in one big container, so to speak. And then it has all the possibilities to be up. Actually, I have one party on switch that actually powers off everything on this desk. So including the desk. And that's on purpose. So that once I'm done, I only have to switch off my computers, and then it's just switching everything off, and then everything is switched off and ready to go for the next round. MT says you can do a green screen on the desk. Yeah, that was on purpose. So the whole reason why I have that green mat is to, if there are some questions about keying, I can actually have a area that I can actually use without the need to bring in a big green screen and just say, okay, but just imagine that this is a green screen, and then boom, it's gone. That's the idea. Want the green mat is by Elgato, so you can. There's an Elgato mat, and that's where you can find it. At some point, you need a cable chain. I agree with that statement as well. And MT says the setup looks great. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was something that I was always already something that I had been thinking of for a long time. Of course, I have now a smaller desks, but with the increase of the standing part and having it a little bit more condensed does help me quite a lot. So I'm actually very happy with that. Moving on to the next step part of it, and please, if you have questions, let them coming, because it's still your Q&A session. But looking at where we are, where we were just a bit ago, we did talk about the one-on-one calls. We did talk about the studio update, and we still need to talk about the gig reports. So, as you know, that every time I have a gig, I will definitely talk about it at the later stage. Now, this time around, I did choose to wait a little bit longer and combine it into one big video, because otherwise, I want to try to have more content that is every time different, and also more aimed towards what you guys want. So that is the reason why I've combined it into one setup. So it was the month of January, and the month of January actually is very close to February, where there is also a carnival. Carnival is extremely huge here in the south of the Netherlands. As a matter of fact, Roland, who was at the start of the show, is actually working or is at an event that is literally 10 kilometers from where I live. Well, not even 10 kilometers, like 5 kilometers from where I am living. So it's really close. I can actually be there in like 10 minutes. So that's really awkward. But that's so big is it here in the south of the Netherlands. And so you will see that 2 out of 3 of the gigs that I've done this month are actually carnival related. And I do need to pick my headset so that I can hear what I've said myself during the videos that I'm going to show you in just a bit, because those are really important. It's really important to talk about what happened, and after I showed you the video, we can actually jump back to certain points in the video to talk about that if you'd like. But I will definitely talk a little bit more than I did in the video. But I think that those videos really are helpful. So the first video is related to a carnival broadcast. So that's the first one. And it was actually in a little bit more south from where I live, in a place called Helderpanningen, and that area within the Netherlands. And this was actually together with a local TV station. Not the TV station that I work for here in Venray, but another one. And as a matter of fact, I just also became a team member right there as well. So actually, I can now say that we did it and not they did it, which is really cool. So that's already a difference than when I created that video. What is really cool about that video is that it was a big show. We had 6 cameras that were one of them was a PTZ camera. The rest was all manned, so it was quite a big show in my opinion. And it was run by a multitude of different people. I think that I'm not sure how much, to be honest. I've lost count, but at the very minimum, about 12 to 15 people were really in some capacity working on this stream. So that's 15 people is quite a lot. And be aware that this is, apart from, I believe, one person, is all volunteer based. And so that is also very impressive in my opinion. So yeah, let's watch it together. So I will start this video and listen to it myself as well. All right, so nobody's in this trailer, so just a quick checkup. So this is the advanced panel, like I also have myself. It is connected to the 2ME Constellation HD switcher, of course, with 1 and 2 monitors. Then we have the program out here. The runbook is right there, and PTZ control right there. And of course, we also use StreamDecks. They also use the X32 rack mount that I also own myself, and a lot of additional communication gear with the people that are working in the cameras, the camera operators. And of course, we also have the audio setup right here. Also an X32 connector with a lot of gear on the top. Of course, you can see here the multi-view for left for audio equipment, timer, and Casper CG. This is my work today. I'm actually responsible for 2 things: playing videos, playout, so video playout, and also the board that is in the room. So the iMac screen right there, I also control with Casper CG, and the only way that I have to do that is by selecting the one that I want, hitting F2, and boom, it's there in just one second or so. So this is the trailer, which is really cool. What I also like, by the way, what I was also very interested, is that you have all kinds of diagrams here, so you can actually see what is all installed in this trailer. How that the intercom is connected as well, and of course who is responsible for what. I really like it. It's really small, but really cool nevertheless. Okay, so that was a quick setup on that first episode. I just saw why you had an echo. I think that the second part was okay. Let me know if that is indeed the case. It's solved. I just saw it. Good. So yeah, that was indeed in a trailer, and believe it or not, in that small trailer, we actually had 4 people. 4 people sitting together. We had the technical director, if I can call it like that, who was really responsible of switching the cameras, but also he had a production duty as well. So he was the person that we needed to talk to about now this is coming, now that is coming, please do this, do that, you know, really a producer, so to speak. Then we have next to him, I would state a person that did some technical assistance, not really in the primary role, but more of a supportive role. He was also in that same trailer. Then we've got the audio guy, and he was really busy with, making sure that the audio is correct, which was really cool as well. And then my job was really not so much the production of it, but my job was to use Casper. And Casper is a playout system, which is free. You can just download it. It's also open source. It does require a a computer, a big computer with Declan cards, that kind of stuff. But it is for free, so that's a good thing. And they actually use it for two things. So I had actually two Casper instances running on that computer. One instance was really with regard to the production, so adding lower thirds during the broadcast, but also playing videos, like for example videos where they introduce the band or the act, or a video where we just ran some commercials, because believe it or not, that's the way that we at least can afford this kind of stuff. So that was my job. So the play out of the broadcast. But also, what was really cool, they had this really big monitor at this back of the acts that I could actually put a nice graphic at the back of that act that was, a bit in the same area, like if they were dressed in yellow, like yellow lines or yellow stars or some glitters here and there. So it was really, really cool to do that. And it was also really cool to combine the backdrop with the song, so to speak. And it was something different one time. So I was responsible for the playout system at that particular time. Of course, because it's so big, I don't have a diagram for you to share what we've used and how. But yeah, you did see, of course, that we used the Constellation 2ME HD, which I actually also own myself, and also the Behringer X32. Two times actually, but that was, I think that we only really used one of them. Not sure, to be honest. It was really cool. There were some things that didn't work out that well because I could not really hear the end results, the program itself. There was a bit of an annoyance, but beside that, everything was really great, and we were laughing so loud that I really almost wet my pants. It was so funny. So it was really a cool evening. Roel says that trailer was so cool. Yeah, I totally agree with that. How big was the trailer? Asks Armori. It's quite difficult to say, but it's definitely about this size of this room, I would state. A little bit smaller, but not much. So I think. Unfortunately, I don't know in feet, but I think it was 1.5 meters by 2 meters by 1.5. I think that was roughly it. Not sure. Eric says trailer. Yeah, trailer was really cool. Go Web Technologies. So namaste back. Really appreciate you for being here. MT says Casper is great, but need intensive work to set up. Yeah, I think so too. What was the software at the left of the Casper CG? Let me go back into the left. So I will run it quickly and stop.
Which is really, really cool. But I also like, by the way,
all right. Both of them are actually Casper. So on the left-hand side, you see the Casper of the show. So that's the left side. And on the right side is the Casper of the backdrop. So that is what you see right here. And on top, of course, you see the time it took to perform it. So both are Casper. Yeah, and sorry guys for the echo. The thing is that I routed the audio to the Go XLR, and I'll need to fix that. But you will hear some echo in just a bit, but I'll now know how to fix it. But it does take a few seconds to get that organized. All right. So that was the first one, and the second one was actually one that was also really cool. But this one was really done only by me. And actually, I went all out. everything I got, I used. It was like amazingly. It was a very bad day. It was snowing and it was terrible. It took me 2 hours to get from here to work. Typically, it takes about 45 to 50 minutes. Now it took 2 hours, which was crazy in my opinion. But hey, the show must go on, right? The car was filled to the rim with all the gear, and it was actually for my day-to-day job. That's right, I do have a day-to-day job. It's at ASML, which is a high-tech company in the south of the Netherlands, and we are specialized in creating lithography machines, and those are actually used for computer chips, the creation of the computer chips. And that's where I work. I'm more responsible in the area of big data, and as part of that, I also have what we call agile development strategy, and every few weeks we have a certain event. It's called a pipe event, and that's where we decide on the planning of the next couple of weeks, 12 weeks or so. And this time around, I was responsible for that for one of the major areas within our department. And like I said, I went all out, and of course I have a video on it, and we're gonna listen to it and watch it right now. And the echo will be going away in about 5 seconds. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is really cool, guys. I'm here at my day-to-day job at ASML here in the Netherlands. And unfortunately, I can of course not show you any data, but I can show you the setup. So as you can see, I have not one, but two Murdoch P120s here connected via SDI and for power the network, and of course control as well. Next to that, I here have my tech land or tech studio. As you can see, this is the first time actually that I'm using the X32 rack together with the X Touch, together with the ATEM. I had already owned this for quite some time, though not the combination of the two is quite awkward for me. So but really cool indeed. So this is where I have not one but two microphones here. One is wired, the other one is wireless. This red one is actually a loop back that I'm using for some functionalities here in this room. And then the blue one is Microsoft Teams, because it's a hybrid event here at ASML. This is the advanced panel together with the 2ME switcher right there. Really important to have both of them at this stage, because I have something different going to the outside world than on the display right here. So these two are actually preview 2ME and program 2ME, and this is of course ME1 program, and this is preview of ME1. And as you can see, this one is live right there, which is unbelievably cool. Next to that, I'm using vMix to populate this countdown timer, and I have this really cool joystick which has a matrix function, and what that does is that it makes it really easy to change the setup of those two. For example, if I want to have a shot of the audience, I mean the audience right here in this room, then it's just a matter of clicking 3 and 6, and then you will see that those two are ready to rock and roll. Same thing, of course, goes for 2 and 5, like so. Perfect. Next to that, of course, I've looked at the Teams computer, which I cannot show you, unfortunately, due to, ASML. That is a vMix computer, which is actually running an output via external out to the Ultra Studio, and that's where it all comes together. This is solely for PoE and for control of the PTZ cameras. And I am still using an ATEM Mini to push the output to the Teams right there. I'm also using HDMI out, also to bring it back into the mix with a decimator right there. And of course I have a wired Ethernet output, and all is also here. So this is the end results. So I can hear the audio, and I can see the end result that is going outside. Of course, I can also see it there, but that's beside the point. So that is what it looks like on the top, and on the side. Let's show you that as well. A lot, and I mean a lot of cabling, extremely a lot of cabling. But hey, you have to be prepared for everything, right? Next to that, I'm also using, well, this is the wired microphone right here. This is the Sennheiser wireless. That's not from myself. That is from this area, this hotel. And here you also have a second decimator, and this is perfection. So that's what it looks like. Really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. No, it's not in 2 minutes. I have more time, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. Yes, so that was the ASML setup that I had right there. You could see that it was quite big. Please be aware that because of the long drive, and I forgot to mention that, I actually was planning to have 2 hours of build time, but it turned out to be just 1 hour. So I built the whole thing up in just 1 hour, which was not so great, I can tell you. What was also not so great is that the 2ME was a little bit buggy. That was interesting. So what happened was that out of a sudden, during the stream, the show, it just stopped working. Well, let me rephrase that. It worked like a charm. The video just went through. Nothing what was wrong there. But I totally lost control. I could not change the channel anymore, or the camera anymore. Not on the advanced panel, not on the computer that was connected via USB, and also not on the buttons that are available on the switcher itself. It was just fully cramped and not working. And with the good, well, of course, we're all part of, I believe, in the same Discord channel, and basically the running idea is that it became hot. Even though it was cold outside, it does become hot because it was a very jam-packed 19-inch rack with no space to breathe anymore. So that is the reason why I actually decided, well, together with my dad, to be honest, to invest in a fan. And talking about fans, I see a Scooter just here. And the idea is to build that fan into the rack, which means that I have to remove the network switch, the PoE switch, and also something happened there, and also something else, and that is the converters from SDI to HDMI. I also have to remove those. These are big ones, the Terranex mini ones. I will be replacing those, at least 2 of them, with the mini converters, so that I have still more space and I can give it more breathing space to hopefully not get into that issue. It's quite awkward because I cannot really for certainty say that this is the reason, but looking in hindsight, it does, to be honest, make some sense. So I think that might be the culprit, which is a bit of a bummer. Let me see if there are any questions or remarks with regard to that video with ASML. Better shower for that gig. Yeah, like always. It's always a lot of pressure, especially if you have less time. I have to admit that one of the learnings is that I'm not going to accept less than 2 hours from moving forward. Indeed, Amari says filled to the rim. That is definitely the case. It was definitely filled to the rim. And you do the stuff that US don't want you to sell to China. No comment, but you know the drill, right? Yeah. No comment. Empty says the joystick is cool. We also use one. Yeah, they're really cool. They're really cool joysticks. How long does it take to set up? Well, like I said, it took 1 hour to set it up. But I actually, honestly, I would have loved 2 hours to set it up. That being said, it did crash after 5 hours, so that gives you a little bit of a feeling that it was there for quite some time. Leandro, sorry. A lot of stuff for solo directing. Yeah, that's another thing. True, I did it all by myself. That is a correct statement. However, I also need to tell you that moving forward, I will also not accept that. To be honest, so moving forward, what I will ask my colleagues within ASML is that I want to have one person. And it doesn't have to be a technical person. It can be one of the Scrum Masters or something. And he or she, I have one request, actually 2 requests for them. I want them to verify if everything is fine, so that they on the stream, on the Microsoft Teams environment, they have audio, they have picture, and everything is fine. I want them to check that for me. I also want them to verify the chats to see if there are any questions, but also if there are any comments with regard to audio, video, etc. Like, for example, earlier today that you said, "Hey, echo." It's like, okay, I actually saw that, and I can actually do something about that when I see it. But that needs to be there, right? So that's one thing. And the third thing is that once somebody is talking, to pin them on the main screen. Because once they're pinned, I can actually, because I have a 2ME switcher, I can route the output of that laptop, the HDMI output of that laptop, into the screen that is local, which is really cool. So, without going into too much detail, because that's for something else, I would state, but this is roughly what it looked like. It was a plethora of components there that I needed, and I actually, honestly, needed everything. There was nothing in there that was too much. It was really all needed. However, I have to admit that in hindsight, I would have loved to have one additional MDHX converter, because, like I said in the video, chef's kiss, you really need to have that kind of converter to make sure that everything is really working well. Because what happened was that I first started to use the HDMI to SDI converter by Blackmagic to run my output of my laptop screen, which is the Microsoft output, to the mixer, to the switcher, and it was ever so slightly doing this. It's like I went absolutely berserk because of that, because I don't want to see that on the screen. So it's like I need to do something about it. And I actually said, hey, maybe I could use one of those MDHX. I have 2 of them. And I changed it. It was fantastic. It was perfectly, it was well converted. There was no delay, at least not noticeable. So I was like, I was really impressed. And the same thing was for the laptop that they had in front of the audience, that was also going via that MDHX, which was, again, really, really cool. So I actually wanted to have a third one just for the sake of it. Even though the latter was going well-ish, it could be better. So that's the reason why. That was one of the things that I wanted to change. And maybe you noticed when in the video that I actually printed some boxes on the floor beside the big beamer or projector. And that was really because they had the tendency, the presenters, they had the tendency to walk in front of the projector. And I was like, yeah, but if you do that, and I have my exposure on automatic, it will go boop like this. It's like, I don't want to have that. So I just asked them to, hey, try to stay here. It's okay that occasionally you have to go through to the other side, but please try to do that. And they did it. And that was a very good way of doing that. Again, a lot, and I mean a lot of components that were, a lot of components that were needed to get this organized. And it goes on and it goes on, as you can see. A lot. So, maybe there are some questions or remarks about that. 1 hour, Petra, you're a star. Well, believe me, I didn't feel like a star. I was like full of adrenaline and actually a little bit shaking at the start. It's like, I don't want to do that anymore that way. Amari says, I guess that the rack needs to be redesigned. Yes. Which brings me to the next question that I have to you. I am nearly so far that I want to start with that rack. As a matter of fact, you already saw that rack on this shot right here. It's right there. It's a 4U rack, and it will remain a 4U rack. However, I want to ask you if you would prefer me to build that rack maybe next week, so that we, together with you, that we will remove everything from the rack on this nice desk. We will remove everything from the rack and build it from the ground up, making sure that the fan is quite nice, etc., etc. So if you would like me to do that, then please say build in the comments. Just one word, build. And if you say build in the comments and there's enough people that want me to build, I will do that live next week. I think that we can do that within 1 or 2 hours. So let's see if you guys would like that. Just build in the comments so that I know that you want me to change that live. If not, that's totally fine with me. I have something else for you lined up, which is audio related. So that is the other part. So let me know. All right. The third one and last gig of last month. Yes, we still have one more to go. It was one, and I will not have audio for this one because the audio was already quite loud. So you cannot hear me on the video. So I will be doing that as an voiceover. But the next one is a carnival related video, and this was also very close to where I live, and this is where I am at the very back of the room. I have here 4 cameras, 4 cameras by Bird Dog 3 times a P120 and 1 time a P100, and that one is of course an old one that I already had prior, and they're all connected to this PoE switch that you see right here. It's a Unify PoE switch, and all 3 of them are connected, the new ones, with HDMI and of course a network cable, both for NDI, which I tested, but also for controlling the systems. And this one was totally different because this one, even though it actually has HDMI, I actually used the SDI port on the P100, and that one went to this box right here, which is an audio to SDI converter, and those XLR cables right there that you see in just a minute right there. That's the audio that I got from a room, and that was converted and put into a SDI and later into an HDMI setup. And that was camera 4. I'm using here the Extreme because of the recording function, for example, because I recorded everything and not on the not a different way. There was no switch, and I actually used the cam control to control all of those 4 cameras, as you could see right there. So that was a bit of a smaller setup. Really nice, to be honest, and it actually looks like the following in the overview. or way less. And this gray box, this was the audio that was done by a different company, not by me. But this part was everything that I used. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, a audio to SDI converter, a MDHX converter for that to put it back to HDMI, and this is the Mini Extreme. And yeah, of course, I also am using a, well, you saw a SanDisk, but this is a Samsung SSD as a placeholder. I use the HP Omen, but I could have easily just used the MacBook Air, and that basically that was the setup that I had right there. And actually, to be honest, everything went smooth, absolutely smooth. So there was no issues there. It was really good. It did take a couple of minutes during the show to really get the colors perfectly graded. So I was actually really using a lot of times the cam control software to really dial in the exposure, the hue, that kind of stuff. So that was a little bit of work, but the end result is phenomenally great. I'm really impressed by what it looked like, and it was very nice to do that, and all by myself. And I could actually put everything in my small car, which was really cool. So that was that. Okay, let me see if there are some questions or comments, Amari says, and I think that's roughly what happened, as the airflow with Blackmagic design is indeed a issue. That might be the case. Eric says, this one story I've shared with others on the Here to Record Discord at Doug Johnson when people are planning wrecks. Yeah. So indeed, airflow, and that's something that I unfortunately learned the hard way. And unfortunately, there is no Teams ISO. Yeah, so I'm okay with that. It's not nice. It's not perfect, but on the other hand, people were already very impressed that they could actually see the person that was talking and hear that person that was talking, literally in the area, which was really great. Hey, Scooter, what's going on, man? Are you coming? Are you not coming? Okay, okay. It's no interest. MT says, to verify this is what we do. We monitor from a viewer perspective for any imperfections. If also used to have a dedicated person for team sessions and PowerPoints, etc. Yeah, so that is really a needed role, and also something that you can easily just give to somebody else, because it's basically what they do anyway. So it's not, they don't have to learn a lot for that, so that's great. The Decimator MDHX worth any penny. Yeah, it's I am in love with that thing. Here comes a nice question, and I was expecting this one, to be honest. Any reason not using NDI for getting video feeds from the Burdock P120s? Yes, there was one reason, and one reason only, and that was that the cameras or actually two reasons. The Burdock cameras were so new that I didn't really 100% for sure knew if the NDI connection would be stable. That was the first question. Sneak peek, it was stable, so next time I don't have to do it. But the second reason why I actually decided not to go for that was that I wanted to have ISO recording on each of the cameras, because it was a recorded gig. And I also was expecting maybe some issues, and therefore that I needed to fix it in hindsight. Luckily for me, that was not needed, but it could have been totally different, and I was in luck that the ISO recording was not needed. Anyway, they were really pleased, and they have never ever seen somebody recording it during the evening and providing the output of the whole evening, which was 5 hours of content, the next day at noon. So like in a period of 5-6 hours after the fact, they already got it. The full 5 hours. They were flabbergasted. They had never ever expected that. So that was really cool stuff. Okay, it seems that we're gonna build something next week. So just for clarity, on TV channel wants me to build, MT wants me to build, Raul wants me to build, Leandro wants me to build, Eric wants me to build, Gerard wants me to build, DJ Ware wants me to build. Welcome, DJ Ware. I didn't see you yet. Anna wants me to build. All right. So so it seems that I have a rack mount build next week, which actually I'd like to do that together with you guys. So I'm actually very happy with that. So looking forward to that. On TV channel says good show, Petra, lots of content. Yeah, we're nearly running to the end of the show. Don't worry about it. That is much smaller than the HDR gear diagram. Well, it is HDR gear, but the tool at least that I was showing just a bit. But it was quite nice. Rol says, that's more like it. I love simplicity. I actually also like to do that. However, I am pretty sure that the ASML part, every single thing was needed. Maybe with the exception of one thing. But that's an insight. Anna says, how are you cropping questions on the screen so fast? Because I'm using vMix with vMix Social, and I can actually just click on your name and it will be popping up that. Unfortunately, I don't have a connection with the screen that I'm using it with, but of course I can also just, for the sake of it, show it here. So let me show it to you. After all, it is a Q&A session as well. So let me open it up right here as well. All right. Okay. So to answer the question of Anna. So Anna, if you look at this screen, this is basically a web page that is created. And I can just click on this line and say send. Once I hit send, it will automatically pop it up on the screen. So that is how easy it is. And that's all related to vMix. So this is called vMix Social. So it is an add-on, but you get it for free, and you can use it like that. So that's really easy. Jason, thank you so much for the $279 Canadian dollars built with you saying it and a super chat. How can I say no to that? So thank you so much for the super chat. Again, super chats, everything goes to the channel. So the super chats go to the channel, but also the in-person events. The in-person meeting that I just launched today. Again, let's show it just for the sake of it. Boom. Oh, I need to remove this one. I need personalized help. Then you can go to calendly.com. So that's calendly.com/techcondo, and that's where we can decide on when we have a discussion together for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 120. And that money will go to the channel. So there's no grabbing or something. It's all for the channel. MT says I'm still in the building process. Had some last minute modifications on the 2ME rack build. Well, great. Show me the pictures. I'm really interested. And again, next week we will be doing the build. And Anna, no worries. Thank you so much for the question. Really appreciate it. Anyway, that was all that I had in store for you today. I hope that you liked it. I really was liking every single moment of it. So I hope to see you next week for what I just learned will be a build of the 2ME switcher, and the audio will just go 1 week later or something. So see you next time, same place, same channel. See you around. Bye bye.